I would do it if it was only one person listening. I would do it if no one was listening. I do not make my joy and my expression of my joy conditional. And because I make it unconditional, because I allow it to be unconditional, there are always people to talk with. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to plan for it. I just had to express my joy for no other reason than that who I am. I don't need another reason. I don't need it to do anything for me. I do it because it is me, and there is no better reason than that. When you thus then simply choose to be who you are, then everything will be there that needs to be there. Abundance, what have you. But we have recently shared with you one of the most important principles about the idea of abundance. Because first of all, remember that abundance can obviously, especially on your planet, mean the idea you call money. That's a vivid way to represent exchange abundance, not the only way. The idea of abundance really is simply the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it, period. That's abundance. But you don't have to necessarily assume that always requires money. Sometimes money is actually the longest route. Sometimes not, but sometimes it is. So the idea is to let it be and drop the insistence that it must be this way, so that abundance can come to you in any way that it needs to represent the path of least resistance and the most expansive expression. Now the tool we have recently shared, the axiom, the principle we have recently shared, that is a very key, critical principle about how to allow abundance to expand specifically in your life in this. When you can learn to do more with less, you will then be able to do less and get more. One time, pay attention. This is absolutely critical. When you understand this, you will really understand manifestation regarding the idea of abundance. I will say it one time. Write it down if you want to. It is an absolutely key functional principle. When you learn that you can do more with less, you will then be able to do less and get more. As an example that we gave, if there is a person that fancies himself an artist, yes, you can be an artist with fancy pens, pencils, and computers. But if all you have is a burn stick, a charcoal stick burned in a fire, and scratched on the cave wall, you are no less an artist. If you judge that the burn stick somehow does not allow you to be as much of an artist as the person with all the high technology, that is where you get yourself into trouble, and where you short-circuit your ability to attract abundance. When you can do as much as you possibly can imagine you can do with what you have. When you can do more with less. If you just have the burn stick and you create beautiful images with the burn stick, do as much as you can with the burn stick. Create beautiful sculptures with the burn stick. Then that act will radiate out and will attract to you other individuals, other circumstances, who will then begin to interact with that level of energy, that level of conviction you put out, and that will bring you more opportunities to get more by doing less. And don't you observe in general that the most quote-unquote accomplished artists among you can actually just squiggle a few lines, and it is considered a masterpiece worth millions? Don't you notice that in the evolution of many of your most powerful artists, they begin simple, they go through complexity, but usually they come back to simplicity when they're advanced. They have learned that by doing as much as they could with what little they had to begin with, they now have to do very little to get quite a lot. That's the principle applied in every field, in every endeavor. There was always a counterpart in every field you can think of.